Hello, hello, welcome. Well, hello, good Tuesday to everybody. Hoping you're having a fantastic evening, afternoon, morning, what have you. As you might be able to tell in my voice ever so slightly, I am a little bit on the sleepier side today. I'm not sure about everywhere else, but for us, it was all the kids' first days back to school. I'm thankful that my oldest was very excited to go back to school, but waking up to do so definitely gonna take some getting used to again. Not that I slept in much anyway. I would only get up at like whenever the kids would get me up, so say 8 o'clock or so. So 7 o'clock shouldn't feel that much different. Yet it does. So that'll take some getting used to, and I'm still recovering from the weekend, not gonna lie. So I'm not gonna lie, of course, that IPL 250 broadcast, that beat me up quite a bit in terms of exhaustion. I went into that when I got off her, of course. I did know it was going to be a hard time zone for me, but picked it up anyway. We made do as best as we can. Because yeah, that stream started at midnight for me, and I don't think we actually finished until 4:30, 5 o'clock. So yeah, that was a long but a fun night, thankfully. Again, I'm very, very excited to have had the opportunity to once again cast with Illuvium on their own channels. This time I was with Scoriox, which was absolutely awesome. I had been watching Scoriox's stuff for a little while now, so the fact that I got the opportunity to cast with him, I may not have said anything then, but that, of course, meant a lot. And of course, I had the opportunity to cast with Taryn again as well. Squad hype man, and it was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed it. Don't mind my cat apparently singing the song for people. And apparently somebody thinking that they're a hot rod out there. I have the windows closed and I still hear that engine clear as day. But it's to be expected. Of course, things a little bit different here for the stream. Of course, this is the first stream, again, that I've essentially pretty well cold turkey the whole VTuber thing. Completely dropping it, with the only exception being on days where I'm, I guess, too sick to be on camera. So that'll be a thing. I'm still thinking about what to do in regards to the branding itself. Come on, cat. My goodness. But it'll stick with the VTuber in regards to my profile pictures and such for now. It's recognizable enough that people know that it's me. Damn cat. But yeah, lost my train of thought there, my apologies. But yeah, I've been working slowly but surely on the whole rebranding away from the VTubers. Still having the model for when I do want to use it, but that'll be on much rarer occasion, because of course the consistent feedback that I've gotten across all of my content, casting, what have you, has been to drop the VTuber model, because the ability to connect with me is just harder. And it took some getting used to, since of course, like I was saying in last Friday's stream, it takes, I've been essentially told the complete opposite, that I'm very, very difficult to work with, and very, very difficult to connect to in person. So hence why I went for the VTuber model off the start. But I've gotten enough feedback to maybe second guess myself and think maybe just the people saying that were the jerks in the first place. But of course, the game plan here for today. So I'm going to very, very briefly talk about the IPL 250 that just passed, then the IPL 250 that's coming up this weekend, my personal plans for that tournament, And then from there, I do have the finals recorded for the latest Dreamers Esports Illuvium Arena tournament. I will cast that. Just a traditional solo cast like I had been doing for the last month or so. And then if we have any time left over, maybe we'll sneak a game or two in. Of course, the ranked ladder reset, I think it was last Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday? And my 1400 rating that I was thankful to be able to push forward the last possible second is now back to the 1200s, and I want to kind of get that back. Get it while I can. Now, of course, the IPL 50 that just passed here, so this is shaping up to be a little bit interesting. There is a document that's going to be possibly coming out in the next little bit that'll show everybody's IPL standings itself. There might be one in the Discord. And holy moly, it's an IRL silent. Yes, Gear, hello, welcome. Yes, of course, the IPL itself will have a document, I believe, coming out very, very soon that shows everybody's position based off of their finishes in the IPL 250s that have happened, and then the IPL 500 that, of course, happened about 2 weeks ago. And the one storyline that is kind of shaping up here is the fact that in a game that isn't necessarily like super consistent, because there's lots of variables and lots of things, there's lots of RNG that can really get into your way, Slicks is still managing to just dominate. Won both of the IPL 250s, and the only reason he did not win the IPL 500 was because a bug happened to make their opponent's Monarch go Super Saiyan and do way more damage than it was supposed to. That was absolutely crazy. Why Red Bull Racing? Yes, this is of course an older jersey. This is when I would root for Sergio Perez. So, I respect the heck out of Max Verstappen, don't get me wrong, he's a generational talent. However, I still like to go for the underdog. Now, where was I? Yeah, Slicks' domination has been absolutely ridiculous over these last couple of ones, and it's not that he's necessarily been abusing the compositions that have been, I guess, at the forefront in terms of strength. I know the one that I constantly go to in my mind is the Rogue Revenant stuff, specifically just throwing a bunch of augments onto the Penguin and being able to not autopilot, but you have you're pretty set if you get your slashing with a bunch of augments on it. But yet, especially in this last one, I was very, very surprised to see the supports really coming into play nicely and being able to coordinate stun locks against your opponent's slashing. In this instance here, took it out. And I know there's still like a few imperfections that do make things a little bit difficult. Like I know, for example, a bug that I do occasionally find when I'm personally playing on the ranked ladder is that I'll set up my units to go up against somebody's team specifically. Then the battle starts and the units are in a completely different location that I originally set up for. So there is that could very well be a thing that messes things up here and there, but no issue, getting worked on. At the end of the day, you still got to capitalize on it. Dislike Verstappen, smug. My wife would say the exact same thing to you. So, absolutely. Anytime I mention, or no, anytime I have F1 on and then Verstappen's face pops up, she literally groans. And I definitely get it, but at the same time, I know he's very, very, he's very, very good. So, it's one of those cases where he can I guess, talk smack, but at the same time, he can back it up with his driving skill. Yeah, it's definitely definitely enjoyable. I know personally, whenever I have the opportunity to have a Sunday that is completely free of anything, there's no better time. And then there is specifically one weekend, I believe it's in May, where you get F1 in the morning for the Monaco Grand Prix. You get IndyCar's Indy 500. And then you get NASCAR's Coca-Cola 600. And you can just spend the entire day with motorsports. It's honestly one of my favorite days of the year. Memorial Day weekend, exactly. It's my one of my favorite times. I didn't think you're into motorsports, so awesome. I'm very, very happy to hear that. Maybe we get together sometime and watch it. Now, in regards to the next IPL 250 happening, I am not scheduled to cast this one. So I'll have the weekend off. I guess I had the 2 weekends in a row, so I'm going to take this one off. I believe they will be still doing a stream for it though, so you might see me in the chat keeping tabs on everything that's going on. I still want to see who wins. I want to see people competing, and maybe I can have a little bit more of my competitor's mindset there. Study the players instead of just strictly trying to cast. And you've been watching... Huh. Fun facts, I guess I just learned about you now, but that's a-okay. Yes, so the Illuvium Pro League is something that just recently started. I think it was announced maybe a month ago. They started doing their tournaments weekly on every couple of... excuse me. Or every Saturday. There's always something for... from September till all the way until like the middle of December. There'll be something like various size tournaments, like the one that happened last weekend and the one coming up here are the IPL 250s. And the those end up being the small ones, but still valuable in regards to points. And in regards to the 13th, I've not gotten a schedule far enough along to see anything in regards to the 13th. God forbid something happens, I will absolutely let you know. And obviously, as soon as I know, you'll know if or when something happens. I do know in a couple weeks, I believe it's supposed to be an IPL 500, which is a little bit of a bigger one and a 2-day event at that. Classic. Yeah, as soon as I know something, I'll let you know, Gear. Optimally, everything is good and we can continue, but again, as soon as I know, you'll know. I know, based off of the community talk, with the big thing that at least a few people have been saying is that they've been really enjoying my commentary, which I'm very, very thankful for. And they want me to specifically cast with another Illuvium tournament organizer named Caveman. I've not casted with them yet, but maybe that can be something that happens in the next little bit. I definitely thank you for the positivity. Try my damnedest. As someone who's been so quiet and so silent for pretty well for so long, it's weird when I do finally end up releasing my voice and the fact that I can make things exciting for people. It's so weird. I know I kind of talked about it a little bit on Friday's stream, but from basically being told that I haven't been stubborn to work with and that I always sound angry even though I've kind of been forced to be reserved and very, very quiet in my professional life or in my social life ever since high school. For people to be messaging me after every single cast saying like, hey, like, thank you for casting, this is absolutely incredible, you're killing it. It's amazing, and whether it be from Illuvium community or from people I know in real life, definitely appreciate it, so thank you here. Let me kill this one. Screw your violin. There. I appreciate it. I'll definitely keep on pushing here as long as I can. Of course, the one thing that I will be, I guess, transparent about is that, of course, everything that I'm doing right now is not making any money. And that is okay. Like, that doesn't anger me. I'm still happy to be creating, and I'm still happy to be doing this. However, there very well could become a time where I do have to stop doing it to, you know, push for more work. So that's something that I gotta do my damnedest with. Keep doing this as long as I can. If I have to slow it down in order to accommodate more shifts elsewhere, then it is what it is, but that's not on the responsibility of the community or anybody else. That is all on me. So I'll keep trying. At the end of the day, I'm still having fun doing this. Trying my best to treat this like work, though. Like, say today, the entire day, I've been extremely gassed, trying to recover from the weekend. Again, with that stream that went from midnight to 5:30. That definitely took a lot out, and then the kids having their first day of school today had me up earlier. If I were treating this casually, I would have just said, oh, I'm too tired, I'm not doing it tonight. But no, I'm trying to take this as seriously as I can, and here I am. So with that being said, we have a cast to do. Grand finals from the Dreamers Esports tournament that just happened a couple of hours ago. It's been a little, maybe about a week or so since the last time I've covered anything Dreamers, but I figured since I'm not casting IPL this week, in order to keep casting practice, I might as well do it while I can here on this Tuesday stream. Gonna move my stuff around here so I can still see chat while I'm casting. That is one thing that I was working on. I wanted to try and implement, even if it's something simple like this little chat box over here on the left-hand side. Just something so I can not keep an eye on yours, but actually respond, even if I am doing a cast. That is one of the things I feel like that does differentiate me a little bit compared to a lot of casters. A lot of casters just kind of tuck their head in and watch the action at hand in regards to the match, and could care less that chat exists. But to my benefit or to my detriment, I do like fan engagement. Oh, did the board games come in? Yeah, I'll definitely take a look in a little bit though, and then probably have to look up a tutorial as to what the heck it is that I'm actually looking at. But I look forward to it. Okay. I made sure to record a few extra seconds here so I can transition in calmly and not have to rush in. Let's see. That's better. Chat window. Wave 2 of your pledge. Just the boxes. Okay. Yes, unfortunately, my mouse is hyper active, so this is the point where I'm now just going to stop touching the mouse and everything is all good here. Again, a little bit of a cheaper setup, so I'm still trying to make the best of it in regards to things. You hear a hum. I made sure to turn off my air conditioning. Unless it's somehow picking up my computer. That's irritating. Mouse coming in once again, one more time. Immersion break, one more second here. Oh, I think I know what it is. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that right now. Yeah, the AC's off, so in theory that should be it, but I do believe I know what it is. My wife's already passing out, and as a part of that, they have a spa noise that gets played relatively loudly in the room. So I can hear it ever so faintly out here, but maybe this microphone is so strong that it's actually picking up everything back there. That might be the case. I'm gonna have to just, unfortunately, roll with it for now, but it's something I will keep in mind. But I get my head in the game here and get on with the cast. So, of course, welcome back, everybody, to the Illuvium Arena. This time we've got some Dreamers Esports tournament action, the grand finals of the latest DayDream tournament. We have our players just already in progress, getting through some of these early rounds, but we're gonna hop on in while the iron is hot. We have Zico leading the charge, OLA's Detective Alan A, Winnie Monarch, Unhappy, who's probably, I believe, new to Team Hype, for some seeing their tag represented here. I'm a Fishy Hype as well, OLA Yami Yugi, OLA Haas, and Fury Hype. So a bunch of hypes, a bunch of OLA, one Monarch, and one soloist, it looks like here. Interesting to see. The region picked in this instance here is going to be the Halcyon Sea, which, if I recall correctly, allows you for 3 additional credits every single round. So each of these players going to get a little bit more to their bankroll with every single round. As we battle it out here with 2 of our leaders early on into this one. I'm a Fishy Hype and Zico Perico, 2 players that we've seen quite a bit in the Illuvium Pro League so far in the past couple of weeks. But, well, for I'm a Fishy, got very, very close to winning the very, very first IPL 250. Could not quite get it done there. Zico Perico was in the grand finals for it, made to the top 8. Then literally had 7 players from Hype and Zico Perico. And there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do there. As much as this is a free-for-all, you gotta wonder if there's a little bit of inadvertent team play that kind of comes through. As we are seeing that fully loaded up ace there for Zico Perico, doing some pretty decent work, but at the same time the beefy bodies here, the 5 bulwarks with the additional toxic coming out here from I'm a Fishy might be enough to get the job done. A little bit of a wet noodle fight here as the bull is trying to take down the moth, and it will absolutely be able to do so with less than a quarter of their HP left to go. Well fought, and then of course one player that is absolutely due to have themselves a successful tournament here is Winnie Monarch. It seems like any of the tournaments I watch of Winnie's, I inadvertently, just by existing, curse them into a 6th to 8th position finish. They always make the grand finals, but they always kind of end up short. And then the ones that I don't watch, they always end up making the podium. So, Winnie, I am so sorry. So you see some of the carries coming out here for our next fight. We ride along here with Amafishy one more time, going up against Fury Hype. Fury's no stranger to the top of the ranked leaderboard as well, and we do see them rocking the Exalted Fleece loaded up with augments, including that Invasive Veil, so if it does get targeted down, it will be able to escape once for free. But do they have enough damage and enough time to charge up the beam? A little bit of an even fight. Good shot coming out here from the Fleece, but the 3-on-3 as the tank line is right in the face of Fury. The big twine is going to end up falling, and we're seeing once again the Bull versus 2. I think there's just enough firepower here for Fury Hype to take the win. The stacked up Fate Sealer on top of that Exalted Fleece as well, allowing for that extra attack speed. Might have just been the icing on the cake necessary to get the job done in that one. Put the wet noodle away. Now, I've used that a few times and I've made a couple of people laugh, actually, on the broadcast. Whenever it's two characters that aren't damage dealers, really, or are very, very early, so they're not doing a whole heck of a lot of damage, just kind of slowly but surely just kind of bonking each other over and over again. That's a wet noodle fight. A lot of times I'll see that with like 2 support characters or 2 tanks. It's funny when that happens. Speaking of Winnie, you're going to ride along with them here for this one as they take a look here to go up against Ole Haas. Lots of rogues on the side of Haas, really jumping the foe real quickly, which is definitely unfortunate here for Winnie Monarch. Had the foe had the opportunity to play the long game, it would have ran away with it, but the burst damage coming out here from these rogues, the crits just being so difficult to deal with. And that's the awkward thing about rogues right now, because early on in the game, they will absolutely blow you up, but then they have that little bit of a lull right in the middle where other team compositions kind of fight back and do a good job at mitigating them. Then depending on your augments, they can absolutely become late game monsters. As we see one of the strong rogues here in this instance, the Lynx, is in this round. Of course, it could be any role, any affinity, but it changes every single game. And this time, the Nimble Lynx going to be coming on through for Unhappy Hype, who also has the augment on it that allows for its Omega ability to crit. So every time that Lynx takes a swing, it did big damage to begin with. It's going to be doing even more now. Meanwhile, on the side of Zico Perico, once again, it's going to be the ace that has been evolved up into the Arctase, built for a little bit of Omega power, a little bit of attack speed as the fight goes on. Eye's going to be on that as it flies on through across the tank line and across the fighters, and it's doing a really good chunk here. That Polar Bear is not going to last very long as well. But what about that Lynx? That's where the true firepower is here for Unhappy. It is going to get targeted down. This Arctase has not been targeted at all. Elusive little moth getting the job done here. Off to the next NPC round. Do of course want to give the opportunity to shout out Dreamers Esports. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but it gives me content to stream. They're very, very fun to work with as well, and it's been a pleasure casting these. So of course, if you do want to end up being a competitor yourself, these are free to enter tournaments. So I will put the link in the description of the video later on and get you a quick access to their sign-up page where you can see upcoming events. Again, I'm Fishy's team composition. It's the kind of composition that I've been running a lot of lately. I originally, when getting into the arena first, really enjoyed nature-based compositions where I would just sit and try and stall out the clock, just out-heal you, and then I might not do much damage, but the overtime pulses will. I've since kind of moved on. I've been playing a lot of water-based spellcaster kind of compositions with Scions, with a couple of frontline fighters as well, because water just kind of allows you to do that. Like I can, with water giving you a bunch of energy regeneration, it definitely plays up to the Scions, plays up to your spellcasters of sorts, but water also does have the Scorpion, which is one of the better fighters in the game. So it does let you pivot quite nicely, and I see that was what I'm a Fishy was doing. But for this next battle coming up, I'm going to return here with Zico Perico as they take on Yami Yugi from Team OLA. We see the ramp fight already here, a very early ramp fight at that. Does have the evasive veiling as well. If it gets targeted, it can be safe, but this thing is barely even touched at this point. In prime position, up to the skies it goes, and immediately is just going to melt things away. It's just up to the one tank to try and fight back, but Zico Perico really feeling the pain in that one as all the rogues go diving in, and that ramp fight, unfortunately, left unattended. Had a bunch of safety nets as well if it was targeted. So because of that, Yami Yugi might have had to spend a lot of their credits early in this one, but by doing so, getting that ramp fight extremely early, they have the rake extremely early as well. The stabbing, the penguin there that we see completely loaded up on augments, flossing all of us in the background. They are absolutely on fire, but hopefully, in their instance here for Yami Yugi, they did not use up all of their resources too quickly, because this is, of course, a very, very long game. I'd argue we're just about at the halfway point. Now, of course, these Dreamers Esports Grand Finals, they are just a best of one. I know if you've seen my casts from the IPL, they're always either a best of 2 or best of 3. Nope, it's a one and done here for these community tournaments. So whoever wins the lobby this time by will be your champion. As we take a look at OLA's Detective Alané, managed to pick up a couple of wins in the TFT side of things, as well as on the Illuvium side of things here in the Dreamers Esports events. Going up against Winnie. A little bit of a bunker composition, but you got a couple of fist fighters. The Earth Granite style going to be coming out here from Winnie. Trying their damnedest to stay away from some of this burst damage, but at the same time, look at Detective Alané's Yellow Monk here. Exalted Monk here in the back line, completely untouched, loaded up on augments, just completely free reign to just slug away on this entire corner. Of course, while the Monk here does not have an ability in its own right, it has a passive for every 3 hits. It does a shockwave behind the target that it hits, allowing for it to do some AoE damage. So when something's all bunched up in a corner like that, all bunkered up, the Monk here can absolutely shine. As we get into the draft round, of course, this isn't like the Crystal Shores or anything, so nothing too volatile when we go to the draft. But what we can kind of decipher here as we take a look at some of these health bars, nobody in this lobby is really running away with things here. We've seen many, many times in a couple of matches over the last week or so where one player would be still sitting on a flawless 100 while everybody else is 70 and below. And that is not the case at all here in this game. We do have a battle of our top 2, actually. I say top 2, but look at that. They're all with the top 4 is within 10 of each other. Or rather, within 6 of each other, which is crazy to see. Very, very close battle. But with this composition, with the way that it's lined up here for Winnie, the one thing that they do really, really need to be careful about is that ramp fight. And we do see them kind of spreading things out a little bit in a better position to try and catch rogues, because of course at the start the rogues will always dive to the very, very back of the battlefield. And you can sometimes get them into a bad spot where we're seeing that Apon do a good job AoE stunning, especially getting the stun onto the rake. But one thing that I'm going to be a little bit worried about is that ramp fight to the skies, and it just took out 2, which means the rest of these rogues should be able to absolutely melt through the rest of this squad. Unfortunate stuff here for Winnie. Yami Yugi really showing off the strength of the rogues I was saying that the mid games can sometimes be a little bit of a suffering point for the rogues. I tell you what, when you got 7 and you're almost on your way to 4 Revenant already, with a fully loaded up on augments, Penguin, and a Rake short to follow, you have a lot of tools that you need to break out of that mid game extremely quickly. And they're setting themselves up for success here, much to probably the dismay of many of our Illuvium players, because that's, I know, one of the interesting things, rather, because people are very, very vocal. I've been very, very vocal about Rogue Revenant being too strong. However, people are making it seem mortal, especially when I'm watching these IPL games. Like, it's not the end-all be-all. It's not like your S-tier composition, but more so like S- or just A, as we go into our next battle here with Zico, Perico, and I'm officially in a position to possibly drop below 50 and maybe kind of get themselves in the hot seat if they can't stop the bleeding. But going up against all these bulwarks here and all the heals for I'm Officially is making things difficult. That power ascent onto the Seers, or not, it's not even the Seer, that's the Riptor, keeping it alive just barely. But does the green side have enough firepower to get through these heals? The Riptor is out of range now, so the heals is going to be too far, but at the end of the day, that Riptor sat on like a quarter HP for what felt like 20 seconds. Just enough Omnivamp to be able to keep themselves in the game. And while we might not necessarily see an augment for that, what we're probably seeing is from the drone augments that these players do get to pick up every couple of rounds. You get 3 of them throughout the game. Omnivamp is one of them, so that all of your abilities, all of your attacks heals you ever so slightly. So every time that Scorpion stings, it heals you a bit. Take a look at a couple of compositions. Detective Alan A running Mud. I'm Officially looking for that 5 Bulwark alongside the Aegis and Empath, more of a nature-based style. When he has found their 7 Earth, so a very, very tanky squad. Water Steam extremely early coming out here for Fury. That'll be interesting to watch, as well as we do see heavy air with heavy shock, and almost a complete Rogue Revenant coming out here. This, in theory, is one of the ones I personally want to take a look at, because it's going to be Fury, I believe, who's playing somewhat of a kind of style that I would love to do. Back when the game first came out in like its alpha or early beta stage, Steam was a playstyle that I love to use, having the one Rake that we see on the left-hand side up at the very top go in alongside having the Spellcaster in the very, very top right-hand corner, and slowly but surely as the round goes on, just buffing their damage. Having the Spellcaster, having the Rogue, as we see too, that Rake, of course, does go untargetable. A good little shot from the right-hand side. Goes to the tank, though, so it just kind of drives the water directly through the Riptor. Now it's up to just the damage dealers on this red side to try and get the job done. But it does not seem feasible. It is just down to this poor little Rake to get it done. And yeah, I don't care how many augments you have. The Rake's not going to be able to take care of that one. I know we've seen it before where a Rake has soloed the team, but a lot of things had to go into their favor to make that moment happen. Spellcasters are a fun monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yes. Yes, they are. But I'll take my Blue Eyes White Dragon over a Dark Magician. Just don't tell that to Yami Yugi. Couple more players down near the bottom here. Winnie Monarch having a hard time, but they do manage to have their 7 Earth, 2 Granite, so they are, again, a very, very tanky squad. Lots of augments onto the foe. Unevolved, though. Meanwhile, on the other side, of course, Haas trying to rock that Rogue Revenant style does not have the 4th Revenant, so they are not going to get that debuff across the entire team. but the damage, it's mainly here for Winnie on the foe, but it's already down to a quarter HP. The heal comes up from the Diodordo, and it's not going to be enough, so now it's up to the little Tianti, but it is going to be taken care of rather quickly. And as soon as the foe falls, just so does the rest of the damage here for Winnie. Definitely unfortunate they're not out of this one just yet. I think we're still early enough that they might be okay unless a landslide loss goes against them. And from what it looks like here, they can maybe put the pressure onto Fury Hype as Fury's down to 13. In the last ditch effort trying to make the Steam composition work. Getting the fully evolved Mammoth though is a pretty huge pickup. Not only a very, very tangy Illuvial to have to go through, it's one of the few Illuvials with a true like hard crowd control effect, being able to literally yeet the closest Illuvial into a group of its buddies and stun all of them. That might buy enough time for the Sinalf or for the Rake to get the damage they need to done. The Rake's dove on in, going after the Monk here, while there's a good little water blast coming on through, right onto the healer. They get tossed, and that Forest immediately popped, so Winnie's damage is immediately going to be taken out. Granted, there are some little health bars here on the back line of Fury Hype, but there's just enough time. Again, the Mammoth is doing such a good job, throws the Goliath directly towards its partner, takes them down, and Winnie taking a massive shot. Was that enough to eliminate them? No, not yet. Still living, 4 to go. So you take a look at the damage charts here. So yeah, all that damage for the side of Winnie was all on the Forest. Meanwhile, we would look on the other side. That Rake was doing a ton of damage. It may not necessarily be as obvious as the Sinalf's Water Beam, but it's in the back line just chopping away while being an absolute nuisance because it could just keep disappearing on you. Possible elimination here at hand for our admin, Winnie Monarch, going up against I'm a Fishy. And I'm a Fishy has a very, very scary team here. Fully evolved Blazonite does have that wildfire proc, so it's going to be slowly chipping away through the fire, while also having a bunch of healing. Yes, I'm a Fishy. The Lilura in the back line is going to immediately get picked up by the tank, so that is going to be mitigated. Good heal coming out from the Archos, getting pretty well everybody. A good stun, though, coming out from the Goliath here on the side of Winnie Monarch. That went through the entire team. Some of the DPS, though, on the side of the green side here, on the side of I'm a Fishy, have not been touched. And look at this Gnarl, this big old green sloth. It has that power ascent, which doubles its health. Barely even looks like it's touched, so unfortunately here, for our admin, for Winnie Monarch, the curse of me watching a grand final with Winnie in it turning into a low placement continues. Winnie, I am so sorry. Granted, they were not the only elimination, though, in that one. OLA's Haas is also going to fall, which I believe is going to be a benefit for Yami Yugi, because Haas was also going for Rogue Revenant. So now that they're eliminated, all of those Illuvials get put back into the shop, which means if Yami Yugi has any credits left over, it could be time to roll and try to find some of these tier 3s, these fully evolved Illuvials, and maybe find that 4th Revenant, because I know both of them had 3 for the longest time, but you want that 4 to try and get the attack speed debuff onto your opponents. But we are here with Detective Alan A from Team OLA, as they are going to be rocking the fighter composition with air, mud, and dust. An interesting take on this composition. We see mud every once in a while, but I feel like it does not quite get played enough. Looking at a couple of these other compositions as well along the side. It's funny to see Zico Perico using the team composition that, like, I personally know them for. The Bunker, Nature, Fire, alongside the Scoriox for that 80 carry sort of style. Just constantly shooting from as far away as possible, and instead of being like mine where it's just strictly healing with no damage and hope that the overtime takes you out, their composition actually has damage, and a lot of it because of that snake. But of course, possible elimination here still for Fury Hype. They've been doing a great job at keeping themselves in this fight, especially after picking up that fully evolved Mammoth. But of course, still on the hot seat. They lose a round, they will absolutely be out, but they have got that doggy completely fully evolved. It's not the Rake anymore, it is the Umber, and this thing can absolutely go crazy. And if I recall correctly, I do believe that Fury did pick up Omnivamp in this one, because look at how much he heals every single time it fires off an Omega ability. That's a fully evolved Jota, and that Polar Bear is going to be doing a ton of damage to it, but every single time it fires off the ability, it hangs on. But look at how crazy Unhappy is tearing through this entire composition. Granted, the shock is going to make things a little bit difficult, but can anybody actually deal with this damn Umber? There's 4 on 1, including 2 major damage dealers, but look at the damage this thing is doing. It's a 1-on-1 now versus the Polar Bear, but again, every single time it fires off its Omega ability, it heals. And that Umber with the 1v6 turnaround. Sometimes things just line up just perfectly. Load up on Omnivamp, load up on Omega Power, load up on your energy regen, just constantly be popping in and out like that. To and from the shadows, and just being able to keep themselves healthy. As we do see Zico Perico now on the hot seat with that beautiful hollow Scoriox. Loaded up on augments as well, but of course that Jotun, and looking at the Octius, the little octopus down in the bottom right hand corner, going to be the main damage dealers for the side of Unhappy. In theory, one of them will be going home right here, right now. That shock did a ton of damage, but good heals coming out here from the Archos on the side of Zico Perico. But they have to try and withstand this. The Crunk has fallen, so the big front line is gone. They're slowly but surely chipping away through this. That Jotun is extremely low, but it will get its Omega. Does it heal in time? It does. And there's just too many bodies here. The Scoriox is gone. The damage is gone, which means Zico Perico, in theory, just has to get this Ranger out of here. And Zico Perico will fall here in 6th place in this tournament. A valiant effort nonetheless, but does fall a little bit short than I'm sure that they, of course, had wanted. 4 shock out here from Unhappy is just absolutely crazy. But now look at this. Anybody from 2nd onward could lose right now and get eliminated. This will be interesting. Of course, we just seen Fury Hype and the amount of damage that this Umber can do, but they are going up against the 4 Revenants coming out here, plus the 7 Rogues. I was wondering if they were going to get the 7 Rogues for Yami Yugi. In theory, one way or another, this is going to end quickly. But can Fury burst them down? The Umber in the back line is going to try and deal with the crowd control, but a good shot coming out here from Fury Sinal. Water Blast goes to quite a few, but I'm worried about that Penguin. That slash in the back line is there, or completely loaded up with attack speed as well. Little bit of a numbers game, but some good damage coming down onto the Penguin. Can they capitalize? Untargetable goes the Umber, and I think they were able to get that. They were. Ironically here for Yami Yugi, the one that eliminates them and sends them to the Shadow Realm is the Umber, which is of course known for jumping in and out of the shadows. We do see Unhappy also falling here, so Unhappy Hype falling in 5th, Yami Yugi gonna fall in 4th. Which now leaves us to our top 3. Olay, Detective Alané, going up against the 2 Hype players. You got Fury, you got I'm a Fishy. Taking a look here for the red side, a very, very toxic, heavy style. 4 completely loaded up Illuvials with the Wildfire proc as well. And that Gnarl in the front line, waiting for that power ascent. Let's just live for 15 seconds and get your health and damage, or your health doubled, plus a bunch of damage and damage reduction. But if you're the last one standing and you have no damage, that could be problematic. The Blotto here for the red side will end up falling as well. The Rogues are doing too good of a job at getting rid of all these damage dealers. Sure, you got that big tanky Gnarl, but there's no damage left, and they're slowly but surely going to be able to chew away at that Gnarl. And in theory, that should be an elimination. I'm a Fishy going to fall here in third place, which now leaves us with Fury versus Detective Alané. I mean, there is potential with the way that these compositions are going to go up against each other. Detective Alané's is a little bit more sustained damage based compared to Fury. We've seen what this Umber can do, and it really throws a wrench into consistent damage, because every time a fighter locks onto the Umber, it just disappears and it forces that fighter to retarget. And all that time retargeting and going back and forth is just enough time without any damage that maybe that's enough time for the Octius to get involved, get the Umber involved, or maybe a good shot from the Sinalf. This little bugger right here, a beautiful, hollowed out Umber as it zips away in our next NPC round here. The fact that it has that evasive veil as well as that safety net, and one thing that I didn't even bring up as well is that Fury has 4 Harbinger, where their Omega power or their ability power gets turned into resistances, and then the lower health they get, the more damage they do. So all of these opportunities where Fury is so low and that Umber is so low, they've been able to capitalize on it, on what could possibly be our final battle here in this Dreamers Esports Illuvium Arena Grand Final. Detective Alané versus Fury Hype. Again, Fury rocking the 8 water 2 steam, a style we do not see that often. But on the other side, 6 air, 4 mud, which of course the mud does lower your damage and your Omega power, so you hit a little bit softer going up against this composition. Could this be the last battle? Where's the Sinalf going? The Sinalf's basically evaporated immediately, so that's some big damage for Fury Hype already gone. The Mammoth is trying to keep away the rest of the DPS. There goes everybody on the side of Fury Hype. It's just up to this Umber. Can it work its magic? It is untargetable. It is trimming away some of the fat here, but is there enough damage? The taunt is going to make things difficult. It does get its ability off one more time. Can the Umber pull this one off? It will not, and because of that, was that enough damage to get the job done here? It was. Fury Hype will fall in second, which means your grand final winner here in this Dreamers Esports Illuvium Arena tournament will be OLA's Detective Alané. Well played to everybody. Of course, being able to get yourselves into the grand finals in its own right is an accomplishment. But of course, the further up you go, the better chance you get at prizing here. Free to enter tournaments, of course, that still get you prizing. So, a good time all around. I'm sure Detective Alané feeling good about this one. Yeah, Fishy may have flopped, but I'll take a podium. Not bad, not bad. But quickly going to take a look at some of the team compositions that were played. Of course, the winner being 6 air, 4 mud, 3 dust. You know, Fury Hype had a decent mix. I'm a Fishy going for the Bulwark and Aegis, relying a lot on Toxic. Rogue Revenant here for Yami Yugi did fall short, just not enough air, it looks like. Had the 3 dusts instead. 6 air, 4 shock. Behemoths coming out here for Unhappy. Templar, Empath, Bulwark. Just a healing composition with the Scoriox for Zico Perico. Rogue Revenant with Phantom was the idea coming out here from Ole Haas, but they unfortunately got taken down before they could snowball. And then Winnie Monarch getting close to getting on the ball rolling as well with that 7 Earth style, but unfortunately got taken down before the ball could truly get rolling. Not too bad, considering I still feel sleepy, but it was still fun nonetheless. One thing I definitely need to start doing, though, and it feels weird, it's the YouTuber standard, right? Like, I should have a better close than just cutting myself off like that. Record a couple of extra seconds at the end here, just with a thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe, kind of thing. I need to get out and hang out with friends more. You're not wrong either. You're not wrong. With all of that being completed, this does leave us an hour open for possibly one round. See if we can finish the night with a dub. Or at least personally, I just like getting on the podium. Or in true F1 fashion, I just want to be in the points, so just give me fourth. How do I position myself here so the mouse stops clicking on the microphone, though? Let's see. Yeah, I know, it's top 10 for F1. But you can't just start the game and get points. Then we'd be Marvel Rivals, where you just rank up just by existing. I do not have a shock mount, no. That was one of the things that happened during the IPL broadcast, because Scoriox in particular has a very, very nice stream setup. And he was showing off his room, and it looks beautiful, like ultra-wide monitors, and like fully perfect for content creation. And I'm just looking at this thing and thinking to myself, if they saw a picture of what I'm working with, they would cringe, to say the least. Yeah, because right now my microphone is actually just on the table's desk as is. Send your photo of what you're working with. I can show you something beautiful and you'd cringe just because it's me. But you're not wrong, yeah. Okay. Let's see if I break everything here. No, we live it. Yeah, but this weekend is going to be weird for the Illuvium Pro League. Since it started at the beginning of August, pretty well every weekend I've been casting it. Because week one, Illuvium didn't have a stream for it. I didn't realize that was going to be the case, but I was just streaming it on my own. I ended up essentially being the stream for the event, inadvertently. So I did that. Then I did the IPL 500 2 weeks ago. Then I did the IPL 250 last week. So it's going to be the first week where I finally get to just be a spectator, just be a chatter. It feels weird. But But I'm very thankful, again, to be taken on. I'm very thankful that they're not being cheap with their broadcasters. There's plenty of people I know in esports and plenty of companies that I've seen that always look at broadcasters and streamers as the afterthought and don't leave a single cent towards actually paying their talent. Illuvium has been the complete opposite. They've been very, very respectful towards us all, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Alright. Oh, gang gang. I was about to make the comment that okay, good, I'm not playing against any top 8 in the world players right now. And then I saw Web3 Gaming TV is in this lobby. I'm okay finishing second. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, so my keyboard and mouse is going to be clicking on here like this is a 2010 StarCraft stream. Just be happy I don't got the mechanical keyboard that intentionally clicks loudly. Instead, I've got the Walmart powerhouse that's thankfully extremely quiet. That's a thing too. I'm just using a little wireless mouse, which I know is sacrilege for a gamer. But hey, it's cheap and it gets the job done. Region is times Sanctum Mesa, so we start off at level 3 with 10 extra credits. I was wondering why I was getting Caribloos already. I personally like to play water, so I'm going to be going for that off the rip. You do use a wireless mouse as well? Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Now this is a good start. I got 2 of my tanks already. Bind to you for 3 tank style. Getting this yellow Augment the Defiance component is for tank items. This is good because whenever I do play my water style, the biggest thing that I have a hard time with is a very squishy front line because it's up to tier 1 units to do a lot of the tanking very early. And if I don't get them fully evolved, it could be problematic. The wireless headset, for some reason... Hey, that's alright. At least the keyboard doesn't necessarily have to move too often, I guess. Level myself up here. One of the items I did end up getting is for spellcasters, so I'm going to put that onto my Tofi and try to protect these guys as much as I can. I should have placed those 2 augments, but I was definitely struggling a little bit with putting my mini bunker up. Getting the middle stage evolution here, this Axon early, is definitely quite nice. If I happen to get either a tank item from my ranger or a scion item, it gets me stupid fast harbinger. So the more damage my guy ends up taking or missing health, the more power I get. That will be nice. And that is exactly what I'm looking for. It's probably one of my favorite items in the game. So now if I bind this with you, I get Harbinger. So both of my tanks are going to do more damage as they take damage. Lynx ends up being a water type as well, so I will try to go for it. Purple for some more ability power on my Tofi. Let's make my tank tankier. And in theory, we're sitting pretty. 4 waters already for that additional energy regen should hopefully allow for my Tofi to be firing off its little missiles, its bursts quicker than necessary. Sucks that my one ranger just got swarmed, but At least it took one down before it fell. And it's going to be really relying on these Titopi shots. Let's see if we can get one. We do get one. Little Cardillo is still hanging in there, but we will end up falling to Gang Gang. I mean, hang on. Little Titofi the good? That was much closer than it should have been. Alright, I'll take it. Okay, only level 1 drone augments, so little disappointed. I'll just take the extra resistances. I do end up getting the links leveled up here. I'm going to level just so I can use this thing. But because it's a fighter, I don't want it to be in the front line by itself. I kind of want it to be second or third in. Maybe pair up with my ranger to charge through. And I'll eventually find something to replace my little rogue here. Unless I can evolve him. Okay, it's going to distract the one ranger up at the very top, so hopefully my links can go nuts in the meantime. Okay, good chop onto the ranger. That Valente, that water rogue, did a very good job at distracting that the ranger for a very, very long time. And we should be able to run over this fight because of it. Beautiful. A fighter partner would be kind of nice here, actually. To get the tier 5 so early is weird, to say the least. Normally that does not happen. Part of me does want to take advantage, though, so let's get you up here. I'm going to unbind you for a second, bring you back. Let's give you the item instead. By adding another fighter here, it does give both of my fighters an attack speed buff. Or a considerable one. It gives it across the team, but especially to the other fighters. So the links and the foe will work together here to buff up each other's attack speed, and it looks like it was a good idea. I'll still see if I can try to level up this rogue, just in case I want to try and go back for more water. And getting another full links just randomly like this is classic streamer luck for me, apparently. I can never get that to happen when I'm actually playing ranked and grinding ranked, but I'll take it when I can. So after this, we have the draft deck. Curious as to what we can pick up here. Specifically, I want to either try and find a Lynx or try to get my other two stage 1s leveled up here. These are the exact augments that I do want, so I'm very happy to see that. But what do we have? Unfortunately, nothing that I was originally hoping for. There is no Lynx. There is no foe or anything like that. That one is going to be able to take the augment that I would have wanted. So if we're playing with fighters, I do want the red augment. I am not going to be able to get them at all, so I'm just going to go for the Atlas. Maybe that can be for a push later towards getting the fully evolved version of the Axodon. But because I am... Oh my, what the... Okay, I literally need one more Lynx to get this thing fully evolved. Because I have tank items, let's beef this guy up here. Let's make you the focus of everything for now. Titofi, well, I'll take that for a possible level up. I can look to add crits. Oh, let's give you a shield and a little bit of extra Omega Power. So what I will end up doing, hopefully we can win this one and I can get maximum interest. Tofi gets jumped on, but it eats up the Valente ult, which is nice. Foe trying its damnedest to chop up the penguin. There we go. Okay, the Lynx will clean this up if nobody else can. Beautiful. So I'll have 40 credits going into this next one, giving me the most amount of interest possible. And then the plan will be to roll until I at least get the middle evolution of my 2 tanks. I have Axon already, but the Carblue I need. As well as Tofi leveling up. This is my late game pick. The fact that I'm getting this now is ridiculous. A 1% chance. Streamer luck for real, for real. Try to roll a couple of times here. I don't want to necessarily all in on rolling, but how things have been, I'm kind of confident. I can get that leveled up. Before I go any further, I should have taken a look at this earlier and see who exactly has been going for Lynxes. There's one more. It's literally just one more, so I should be able to relatively easily grab one more Lynx and level this up fully evolved. Gonna wait till the next round and then greed it out a little bit. Had I not gotten the TNT evolved, I would have swapped in my Alfie, but I don't think at this stage it outdeals the damage because the evolution happened. So I'll keep it for now, but if I do end up getting this thing leveled up or getting a couple of more Omega Power augments, that is something that I can absolutely take advantage of. I'm gonna try the roll. There is our stage 3. So I'm gonna take the augments off of my foe, put it onto the Lynx because I wanted to start swinging quicker and more often. And if possible, a few more rolls to just try and get my tank line. Not it. That was actually pretty good. If I was going for healers, this would be perfect. And I will stop at 20. Okay. So I'm actually at a very, very close position at being able to get the fully evolved Axodon. This would allow for Tsunami play. Okay, come on, TNT, I need a good shot because my guy has no Omnivamp, and that's why we're losing this fight here. It's not healing at all during any of this. So that's definitely heartbreaking. So what did I end up picking? It was just the resistances. Empowered attacks heal. I do like that. Yeah. I want my tank to be able to sustain at least a little bit here. I want to try and protect my Lynx a little bit better this time. Let's see. Down to 20 again. There's one Axon. I guess there is two, so I guess trying to fish for it for too long could give me trouble. So I think that'll be the last time I try to roll for it. Vargas here, putting their Lynx all alone up against my fighters. I mean, I guess it is tankier, to be fair, but I am also a higher evolution, so I'm going to win that one. They did get the chance to mess up my front line pretty badly, but now you can kind of see my Lynx is snowballing pretty hard now. The just chopping away through pretty well everything. But again, I don't have heals, so if I do get caught by burst damage, there's nothing I can do to get myself back into the game. I'll take it for now. My next goal will be to go to level 6. I'll wait till the next round so I get the 1 or the 2 coins of interest. Now, interesting. Part of me would love to go for fire and just add the Fury Heart to my links. But at the same time, pure damage would be nice as well. But yet at the same time, the healing, since I don't have a natural heal, is nice. Oh boy, I'm gonna go for the Fury Heart. I'm gonna have to adjust how I work that, however. In theory, this should be a ton of damage now coming out from my links. Yeah, that's a tank that it's shredding, so I'm kind of happy to see that. Definitely wish I had something with a little bit of Omnivamp, though, just to keep my guys alive. I tried to talk it into happening, but it didn't. And now here's my dilemma. I could get something that has shield. Or I can give it something that has range, and I'll just never get hit. It's the greedier of the 2 options, but I think I'm going to try it. Because then what this will allow is for me to do something like this. I could start loading up the foe as well, so that I have 2 fighters that are actually packing a decent punch. Level up to 6. And can I then bring Alfie out? I think that I will. It's not going to have a ton of damage per se, but no worries, enjoy your snack. Let's see how this goes here. Yeah, because my Lynx has been able to stay out of the front line now. It's just chopping away at everything. It should be able to carry, even though I do not have a good tank line. Sweet. Not bad at all. There's one thing I've not seen like at all here is no Riptoruses. Mammoth would be a wise pickup for this composition, but I don't think that I can really stick it in here right now. I do really want to keep 3 Bulwark. I want to protect my Lynx at all costs here. Same time, I do want to protect my mages. I think this is the best way I could have possibly set it up. It's baiting me to shoot my water towards that ebb up there, so that's a little bit of a misplay, unfortunately. One thing that's also a bit of a miss is the fact that I'm not going to be able to target this rake at all, so it's probably just going to run through my entire team. Yeah, it spent so long just going after the ranger that I'm going to get melted. Even if I had the energy respite, I don't think that would have made the difference in that fight. This thing is just completely loaded up. What does it have right now? It does get Omnivamp with elimination, so interesting. Web3 knows exactly what they're doing, and this is exactly why I was afraid when I saw them in the same lobby as myself, and there's a reason why they're win streaking. Okay, now I'm torn on this one. I would love to be able to have the Bulwark imprint. I'd love to be able to have the Scion one, and I'd also love to evolve my Bull. I'm gonna end up going for the Bull because everything else got took. Got taken, rather. Does level me up. I don't have a grass tank to pull off toxic. Now this one's a bit more of a traditional composition. Just a matter of trying to get to that Pyre in the back line. Now I'm still at 72 health, so I'm trying not to worry too much. I'm just trying to think of my next step. Since I already have the Alfie, part of me does want to start leveling up a little bit harder. Try and level it up. It does not look like my Lynx is keeping up with the way that I built it. It's trying its damnedest, and it might be able to spare me a round or two. It is going to clutch up, thankfully, but that was definitely close. Very close. Okay, the rogues are back. Protect the beast. Something like that. Since there's a few people that did go for the tank line that I wanted, I'm going to just focus on putting some of these extra credits towards leveling myself. And hopefully they get eliminated soon and I can start taking the units that they lose. Yeah, I'm going to lose my foe early, but they're going to lose a handful of their rogues early as well, thankfully, because of that. And we should be able to clean up from here. Beautiful. Okay, because I would need Gang to fall to get their Cartolo. I would need... Let's see. King falling would open up the doors a little bit as well. Saudi falling would definitely help. Same thing with Harmon. Granted, not all these players are doing bad by any means, though. Okay. And of course, the one thing I guess that was kind of special for today's stream that I didn't really touch on much was the fact that this, of course, is the first time that we've been streaming on X. We did stop streaming to Kick, opting for X instead. It does seem that there's quite a lot of Illuvium people on X. And I definitely wanted to make sure that I was in the right place to see everybody. So I'm hoping that this was a better choice. And of course, anybody who happens to be there, good to see you and thank you for coming out. In this instance, I'm gonna move Mammoth up to give my... Well, actually, no, I already have two Scions, don't I? Okay, that was a bit of a misplay. I could have probably just put Riptor in there instead. Give my fighters a little bit of a buff. Interesting here for King, they put the Leviathan's Fury onto their Sinalv, or not their Alfie, which wastes a lot of time not auto-attacking because of the its ability. I get that it's their little powerhouse, but definitely wasn't doing themselves any favors here for that one. I'm gonna go for the 4% Omnivamp, something over nothing. Okay, swap these out, and now I'm gonna start rolling a little bit. The ebb might not be a bad idea either. Scanner Box, always a good pick. There's Riptor. Okay, let's get rid of a couple of these units that I'm not using anymore. Focus on the battle at hand for just a second. So my Riptor's going to essentially just sacrifice itself, but at least because it's there, it's giving my fighters that speed buff. But it may not matter, as I'm seeing my team just get swarmed here. Lanier is just absolutely crushing it, it looks like. Okay, so there's the level up on 2 of them. Because I got the level up, I'm going to swap in the Flood for that extra healing. A little bit of extra tank as well. Did get the evolution onto Snalf. So I'm going to take some of my damage and move it around. Boost your Omega power. Safety and Omega power. Boost your damage. Boost your damage. Let's see if we can get the kill shot here onto Borgus. My Sinalf should hopefully have enough damage to go towards either the Fernite or that squeeze. It is going for the squeeze. And because we had that little extra shield, it does manage to withstand the first set of lightning bolts. One more shot, but here comes the tornado. We do manage to get there in time. So the squeeze is out of here. Need some big heals coming out here from the Flood. It's not going to be enough. Just don't got the firepower right now, it would seem. Gonna take the one fighter out. Since I got the evolution here, this now gives me Toxic. If I happen to have had room for one more water, I could go for 8 water. There is one more water here for me. Try and get the kill shot on the gang, maybe? Let's see if we can pull this off. Unfortunately, the dash is just there strictly for getting that extra water proc. If we can stop some energy regeneration, that would be huge. Come on, shoot them on down. That's on both of the carries. That's a good position. Not enough to kill. But look at, they're melting me pretty badly. We finally got rid of their damage, but at the same time, my damage is gone. Damn. Oh, there's no guarantee that we're making the 4 with this one. Shall be tough, but we will try. One part of me is screaming, build a better front line. The other part is saying, get more Omega power. This would be wiser to put onto Riptor. Optimally, I probably should have just went for tank. I saw the Alpha and just got excited. Yeah, Web 3 is just absolutely running away with this lobby, though. Considering they're going for Steam too, it would not surprise me if they end up conflicting with me on some of these picks. And this is where I kind of get stuck a lot of times with my water compositions, because I'm relying on a tank line that is not very tanky. I do put myself into a bit of a pigeonhole. Because this is an NPC round, I'm not going to spend anything, but being at 23 health, I cannot wait much longer. If I were to get a water imprint by chance and be able to switch one of these things out, no, it's giving me legendary. It's giving me them all for basically fighters. Okay, that's kind of cool. Like, I feel like it has to be this that I do this for, right? Give you all the damage that I can possibly muster. You follow it up. Brawler crates. Now it's basically time to roll. I want to put the mammoth out somewhere, but I don't know where to put the mammoth without wrecking my water. And I'm probably too slow. I even just missed a atlas on the board, so I'm just panicking out here apparently. It would be a blessing if we had ourselves another opportunity, but I highly doubt that we will. I mean, hang on. Squad's trying to prove me wrong here. But again, at the same time, that Umber's too much. Yeah. Oh, we do get another chance. Another chance indeed. Get rid of one of you. Take that. To be fair, that was the lobby leader, so we knew they were going to be up against a tough one. Gang did just fall, so okay. What feels like we were on the struggle bus for like this last 20 minutes is guaranteeing us a top 4. How much longer can I hold on for, though? Okay, so I want as much coverage on my squad that I can. Put you in the front lines. Try to keep you safe. Leave a little hole that I could start attacking both of their guys, and hopefully my links can just be the turret that I need it to be. But look at how fast that Rip Lance just died, and now that the Penguin's focused. Yeah. This one should be curtains. We will fall out in 4th. But at the end of the day, we're in the points. At least I think we'd be in the points. It's a tough enough lobby that I believe 4th would give points. Slash-ins are just insane, man. Honestly, that's the bigger W, is getting this fuel. That's absolutely fantastic. Because oddly enough, and I might actually make a video on it about how, I guess, my routine of sorts for Illuvium is. Because, to me, as much as Illuvium Arena is the focus of the game right now, that isn't necessarily what drew me to the game in the first place. Like, I love it, don't get me wrong. But personally, I came here for Overworld. I would much rather be in the field, catching the Illuvials, training them up, and having fun that way. But in order to do that, you do need fuel. So a lot of times what I end up doing, and that's kind of where I got all my Illuvium Arena experience from, is that I would go into the overworld, whatever fuel that I had from just playing the game, I would use. But then when I run out of fuel, I'd go play Arena, try to get into the top 4 in games in Arena so that there's that chance of getting more fuel, so I can then go back into Overworld. Personally, that's what I always do. And then before, well, half the reason that I even have Illuvium 0 plots in the first place was that I was able to send my fuel from 0 into Overworld so I can keep catching things in the Overworld. That function is no longer a thing right now. Hopefully it comes back one day. But I just love being self-sufficient in this game. I know there's a marketplace. If I wanted to just buy an Illuvial, I could. But I've done that before, back when Ascendant was a thing. And the moment I did that is the moment I lost all interest in competing in the arena. Because there's something special about going into the field and catching it yourself, then using it, instead of just swiping a card and getting what you want. There's a little sense of accomplishment there. And pride. Now, oddly enough, my mouse is dying on me here. I guess we're talking about wireless mice being sacrilege for gaming. Well, it's definitely kicking my butt right now. I'm not going to leave immediately, but I do not have enough time for one more game, sadly. But just to kind of catch up on everything that happened today. So of course, it's kind of touched on last weekend's IPL 250. It was a heck of a lot of fun, even though the stream started at midnight, because that tournament's time slot was more dedicated towards, like, say, Australia time. And we didn't finish till 5 o'clock, and I think you could probably still tell it on my face in regards to exhaustion. Didn't help that it was also the first day of school, so we had to wake up a little bit earlier to get the young ones to school. But at the same time, for the next IPL 250 coming up, I do have it off. So after casting 3 IPL events in a row, and I'll be a spectator for the first time in a while. I know some of y'all are going to say, come on, why not be a competitor? Like, go enter, go enter. First off, did you just see how I played? There's no chance I'm going to ever make it. But even if I wanted to, the time slot is either when I'm picking up my kid from school, or it's, I believe, at 10 o'clock, which would be too late for me, unfortunately, for this one. If I get some sort of second wind, maybe I can try to do that, but that would be a late night. It's pretty close, though, because I do my streams from 8:30 to about 10:15, 10:30 on most nights here. But these sit-and-go events are about 4 hours long, right? So I'd be grinding all the way till about 2 in the morning. And my kids would not let me get away with that one in the morning, to say the least. Problems of an older gamer, I suppose, right? But hey, I'll take it where I can get it. And then, of course, as I had mentioned before, this is the first time that we did our stream on X. I didn't realize there was a few barriers I had to go to prior, but I'm thankful I've been able to knock them down. And from what it looks like, it's been doing quite nicely. I also want to thank, of course, Illuvium themselves. I believe they actually retweeted the stream, so thank you. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it greatly. And then for Friday's stream, still be going live, of course. It happens, of course, at 8:30, so the first of the sit-and-goes would have already happened. Maybe we can take a look together and see who will be in from the first sit-and-go, and like who qualified for it. Kind of give a rough setup as to what to expect for this next one. If a document comes out showing the full list, maybe it's something that we can examine together, kind of see how far, after 3 weeks of competition, who's sitting pretty and who still has some work to do, kind of thing. Or if you're like me and just not even on the board because you don't qualify in the first place, hey, it's still fun. And there's still plenty of time, of course. I mean, there's going to be something IPL related basically every week until the middle of December, so plenty of opportunities to just get started, and you're not too late. Yeah, while I myself might not be competing, of course, on YouTube, I do, of course, I try to shoot for a short every single day, and then I'm starting to get a little bit more into long-term content. The grand final from the Dreamers Esports tournament that I casted earlier will show up as a video as well on there. And I am planning on doing some more long-term videos in regards to Overworld, your last chance to, or like how to get into it quickly and then get what you want before it inevitably becomes the MMO, which of course could still be a long time from now, but just in case anybody's new to the scene and wants to catch their own stuff before the game goes into the MMO instead of Overworld, we'll make a video for that. Maybe do a video, of course, on my Illuvium routine like I was talking a little bit before, but actually giving examples and not it just being me on a camera yapping. And then any other Illuvium fun I happen to get into, whether it be Arena or IPL, what have you. I'll be right there. I try to pride myself on not just saying the amazing, but talking about everything that's going on, and in particular from a long-time gamer's point of view, not as a crypto bro. Because like I had said before in streams in the past or in interviews in the past, I found Illuvium because I was just watching Pokemon videos. And the creature capture side of things, plus the city builder support side of things, plus the auto battler on top of it, that of course is what I fell in love with. None of this play to earn BS. Which I know hooks a lot of people, so I know I come from a different kind of background in that regards, but I can try to give my insights on the game strictly from a gameplay perspective, not the crypto perspective. Illuvium is what taught me what crypto even was to begin with. I did not understand it. I knew what a Bitcoin was because my buddy mined it about 10 years ago, and let's just say that he's sitting pretty right now. But other than that, like, I didn't know anything about crypto transactions or wallets or anything along those lines. Illuvium's what taught me that. And I've definitely made mistakes along the way. In fact, it was kind of funny. I had a conversation with my parents over the weekend, and the topic of crypto came up, and they asked me to explain what it was. I still, to this day, cannot properly explain what it does. So like that's how off I am. I know there's a lot of people in the space that are like heavy investors into a bunch of different things, but that's not me. But with that being said, I do need to start calling it a night. Still getting used to the routine of kids being back to school and still recovering from the weekend. So I'll call it a night here, and I will see everybody on Friday for the next stream as we take a look again, see what's going on with the IPL for the first sit and go, and then what to expect going forward into the weekend. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll talk to you later.